are on our way, but before we go and continue on our journey, I must insist that we go over safety protocol. Out into the river, and we will start to sink. In fact, well, not sink. We will lower down, kind of like a water elevator, to the level of the river. The bottom white stripe represents the south end of the city. The blue stripes going between them represent the river that flows between the two sides of the city. Here's the thing about that name, the Windy City. We actually don't get any more or less wind than any other city around in America. We get that name because of a time period called Prohibition in the 1920s when alcohol was completely illegal. But Chicago was a huge hub for illegal alcohol drinking and transport and hoarding. So the idea was this: we were called the Windy City because it only took a little bit of money to convince politicians to, blow the rules over, shuffle the leaves, all that kind of stuff. So we are the Windy City because of that quality. The second and the tallest building in the city of Chicago, and we've already come to the third tallest. With its 3 stacks going up, those are the St. Regis Towers. Now, those are also the tallest buildings in the world, designed by a female architect. Chicago's very own Jeannie Gang, born and raised. We are very happy to have her buildings here in the city of Chicago. We've got rectangles all along here, but there's one triangle. That's very curious. Well, this triangular building is called the Swiss Hotel, not the Swiss Hotel. It's one word, Swiss Hotel. It is a hotel though. It's got 661 rooms. Each side of the building, you get a unique view of it. All your neighbors cascading down the different levels. And in her words, not mine, she said that those waves on the building tricks the wind away from her building so that it doesn't get blown over. It's obviously still standing to this day, so something is working out. Now the tiling all around the Wrigley building is extremely fragile. You cannot power wash it. You can't wash it mechanically. It has to be washed by hand. So whole crews of people once a year hand wash that entire building. That sounds like a lot, but at least it definitely pays off. It looks absolutely beautiful. And actually from the bottom to the top, those tiles are a different shade of white, which I obviously, can't even believe, but they claim it is so. And already, guys, we have come up on the second tallest building in the city of Chicago. This is the Trump International Hotel with its big spire at the top. Now that spire at the top actually creates an issue of contention of it being the second tallest building in Chicago. Other antennae on other buildings are not counted towards the overall height, similar to the ones that are on the tallest building in the city of Chicago. But the spire at the top of the Trump building is counted because it's directly affixed to its foundation. If it wasn't though, the St. Regis Towers would easily overtake the Trump Tower of being the second tallest building in the city of Chicago. For all you Batman fans in the audience, 3 different Batman films were filmed in the city of Chicago, by the way. This, in that movie, is GCPD headquarters. That is where they are talking about all the dirty money. Now, it kind of looks, if you look at it, it kind of looks like a giant computer server. In fact, this was once the home of IBM, and there were many computer servers running in that building at once for so much that they had to refrigerate the building to keep everything nice and cool and running properly. You've got your car parking. The middle sections on each tower are all stores that you can buy everything you can possibly need, and there are apartments up on ahead. One of these days I'm going to move in, I swear. Now you may look and see, they kind of look like stalks of corn. Well, the original design idea was that they were flower petals falling into the river, but something clearly got, lost in translation. You also might be thinking, hey, those cars look a little precarious, right? No car has ever fallen out of the Marina City in real life. It's only happened in insurance commercials. Everything is A-okay. Murdoch building, which is in fact the home of Encyclopedia Britannica. Yes, it's not from England. They come from right here. Now, I'm going to do some counting to see if this works out. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panes of windows on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panes of windows. The building's uneven. Well, the reason is when LaSalle Street, which is right above us right now, had to be extended, they shaved off a section of the building. So they're missing 1 pane of windows on one side. Every time I notice it, it just kind of bothers me. Like, why couldn't you just even it out? But, oh well. Speaking of evening it out, this building probably has a more egregious, example of it. So this is the Builders Building off of our port side. It's named that simply because it was the home of a construction firm's building materials. The more modern bit with the bigger window section is 80 years newer than the more ornate bigger section on the other side. So again, it's like, just make it work. But it's all right. I'm not an architect. Now on our starboard side is an absolute monolith. This used to be the largest building in the world. This is Merchandise Mart, originally built by Marshall Fields, who, yes, is the guy who did Marshalls. This was once the home of the CTA, the Chicago Transit Authority, until 2004, and that means it is the only building in downtown Chicago with its very own train stop. It's called Merchandise Mart, and it takes you directly into the building. Now, for all you Transformers fans out there, in Transformers Dark of the Moon, that's where Sentinel Prime shoves his sword into and rips the front of the building off. We have come to a point in our journey. To be more specific, this is Wolf Point. Now, Wolf Point gets its name, well, we don't actually know why, but this is the legend that I adhere to. This was once basically the exclusive fishing grounds of a single Potawatomi man by the name of the Wolf. But nowadays, it's actually owned by the Kennedys. Yes, those Kennedys. They originally bought Merchandise Mart from Marshall Fields, and then when they sold that, they bought this area of land. They really want to build 3 high-end condominiums. They've got one, which is right here. This is Lake Point West. It's got, all your golf, all your, spa, all your fancy stuff, all that you want. At the tip of Wolf Point, though, is River Point. And every building has a point around here. Well, this is River Point. Its arc at the bottom is the entire building support mechanism, and then the slant at the very top actually uses rainwater, and it shoots it off so it doesn't get on the building. It also kind of looks like, it kind of looks like a Hot Pocket, quite frankly. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yeah. Now, don't be afraid. The building that we are about to point out is gonna stay upright. I promise. Even though it does kind of look like 150 North Riverside Plaza has got a big chunk missing out of the bottom of it. The foundations actually going down actually go out like an X. They don't go straight, so that keeps the building nice and steady. And again, to deal with the wind in the Windy City, at the very top of that building, at the highest level on the ceiling, are hanging water tanks. So if the building ever shifts one way, those water tanks will swing the other way and keep the building nice and sturdy. My mom, though, every time we drive by that building, she's like, oh my God, the wind's gonna blow it over. It's all right, it's okay. This building right here, 100 North Riverside Plaza, has the prestigious name of Boeing on the side of it, except the Boeing Aircraft Company doesn't actually live there anymore. It was offered $60 million to move to some city called Seattle. I don't know. I still think we win, though, because at the top of that building is still the second tallest clock tower in all of America. So I think, honestly, we win in the end. Well, that is the Civic Opera Building. It is spelled in the old Greek lettering, which does not have the letter U. This was built by a railroad tycoon by the name of Insel. The story goes is that his wife could not make it as an opera singer in New York, so he built her own theater right here. This big section right here is actually the back of it's the back of the theater. If you were sitting, you would be facing towards the river. And actually, the whole building kind of looks like a big old chair, as if he was sitting down to have a look at the show. Now, speaking of railroads, Chicago is the largest railroad hub in America, simply because New York City cannot lay track eastwards because of the Atlantic Ocean. They can only go west. Whereas the way Chicago is situated, we get to lay our tracks both east and west, creating the largest railroad hub in the country. And speaking of the railroad, here is some of it right here. This is our Amtrak going into Union Station.
Fireworks are going off tonight. So they're gonna get their lock through by themselves. So we're gonna miss our lock through back out to the lake. Do you guys wanna go a little bit further in the river? Let me get it like a hand raise. All right, we'll go a little bit further. Wyndham, just talk about what you know, and we'll turn around when we turn around.
Okay, absolutely. We're going down the river, guys. All right. This is our map, our trusty map. All on. This building is actually the home of a GPS company. They wanted to help us out as best as they can. So we are right there. The larger building on the other end here that is not full of glass, but more industrial. That is the old mail sorting complex for the city of Chicago. At one time, there was a mass, so think about this, all the mail is going in and out of the city. There was once a jam of 16 million pieces of mail in that building that they had to sort out. Think of how crazy that would be? That'd be a major pain in the butt. Nowadays, it's got its new home, you know, it's not the mail sorting center anymore, it's got all of its new citizens up there, but in the movie The Dark Knight, you know that famous bank robbery at the start? That's the bank that they're robbing, and the glass building next to it, that's where they're shooting, that's where they're ziplining off of.
Oh,
so again, we are basically in Gotham City, everybody.
Awesome.
Directly inspired by a famous French church. Again, all those churches are built in the Gothic architectural style with its flying buttresses. The reverse process that we went at the start of our journey, we have been brought level 6 feet up to the level of Lake Michigan. Now imagine it, the river behind us is now once again 6 feet lower, and it has come to the end of our Chicago River journey. We're buckled and we're gonna go for a spin on the lake. Ready for a ride?
Yeah.
All right, let me get a quick roof from you all real quick. Roof. All right, consider this ride underway.
저희 오늘의 마지막 일정, 시카고에서 제일 높은 빌딩에 있는 스카이덱에 가고 있습니다. 지금 시간이 거의 9시가 다 돼가는데 시카고의 야경을 볼 수 있을 것 같아요. 스카이덱 웰컴.
환영합니다. 지나갔습니다. 이 별이 뭘까 이거?
그러니까 전망대가 보통 그 도시의 랜드마크잖아. 그러니까 그 도시가 어떻게 발전했는지 이런 거를 꼭 보여줘야지. 뉴욕에도 그랬잖아.
맞아, 신기하다.
엠파이어 스테이트 빌딩도 그랬고. 그레이트 파이어. 그러니까 대화재가 시카고에서 일어나가지고 3분의 1인가? 다 태웠대잖아. 이거 우리 본 거다. 입에서 물 나오는 거. 예쁘다. 일년에 50번에서 100번 번 게 맞는데 근데 안전하대. 와, 윌리스 타워 잘 만들었다. 멋있다. 이거 되게 웃긴다. 이거 높이가 마이클 조던 223명을 같이 더한 높이래. 키가. 그 다음에 무게는 1348 블루 웨일 무게. 이렇게 해놨네.
이거 되게 잘 해놨다. 재밌다.
이거 봐봐. 윈드 스웨이가 뭐냐면은 바람 불면은 양옆으로 이렇게 흔들리는 거야, 건물이.
우와, 신기하다.
근데 한 3 feet under maximum. 뭐야 이게? 와, 진짜 움직이는 것 같아. 잘 만들었다. 살짝 진동도 느껴지니까 진짜 움직이는 것 같아. 와, 저기도 거울 이렇게 해놔가지고 한판처럼 보이게 돼 있다.
오바마. 여기 써있으면 오바마랑 내게 한번 서볼래? 오바마랑 찍어볼래?
이 사람들이 다 그건가 보다. 시카고 출신 사람들? 아니면은 시카고에서 유명했던 사람들? 멋있다.
Set Chicago ablaze, burning down 1/3 of the city. Rising from the ashes, Chicago quickly rebuilds to become an architectural icon. The World's Fair of 1893 opens, hosting beautiful white buildings. Dazzling new inventions debut, such as electricity, elevators, and the Ferris wheel. As the birthplace of the skyscraper, Chicago flourishes in the new century with glamorous Art Deco buildings and modern architectural styles.
저렇게 찍는 거야?
We hope you enjoy Chicago from the city's highest point. Now, we're traveling down at over 18 miles per hour on one of the fastest elevators in the world. Along the way, take a peek at all the things happening in this tower.
저희는 이제 오늘 시카고 일정 다 끝내고 집으로 가기 위해서 저희 자전거로 가고 있습니다. 이 자전거 집에 가자 이제.